Okay, so this is our show conversations, guys. Today I'm going to take this seriously. I mean, for those who've been with me for some time, there are some times where I joke around, sometimes where I really take it seriously. Sometimes, it's so serious to the point where, it's scary to even talk about. Um, Let me make sure that I'm on a few seconds. All right, so I'm going to make sure that this is on. All right, so a few seconds. I just want to make sure that my screen is on because it's very important that we talk about this conversation, which I just want to go ahead and put a warning. The warning is this is going to be serious. I'm going to have a serious communication dialogue with you guys in regards to this ongoing demonic energy that continues to plague generation after generation, culture after culture. It doesn't matter the color, the creed, the age, it doesn't really matter. This is a demonic spirit that has and continues to plague not only your community, but many communities. It doesn't matter what color the person is. It really doesn't matter the age, the income, it don't matter. It's a demonic spirit that is very strong. It's snake like. It's very venomous and it's very dangerous towards um babies, children, teenagers, people who are not aware of this spirit, this energy that lurks within their community, within their homes, within their environment, whether it's at work, at home, at school, anywhere, everywhere. It the spirit, it lurks and it's very venomous and it's very snake like and it's very dangerous. And for whatever reason, a lot of people are not able to identify this negative energy that seeps into so many people's homes, and it takes the lives of innocent babies like this one on my screen, and innocent children, innocent teenagers, innocent young adults, even adults, older people. I mean, you name it, it's a victim of this spirit. It's a very demonic, snake like, over sexualized, unsatisfied spirit that lurks within the homes of, God forbid. And I just want to talk about this because as I was cruising through my local newspaper, I came across this article with this dude who, I'm going to read it to you because I want to, but let me just make sure that I'm recording because I don't want to be talking in vain and everything like that. Okay, so I'm good. So, yeah, so hopefully, I can read to you guys this article, but let me just go to the chat real quick. It says, "Hey, M. Lewis says, how long you been on? You gone onto astrology and do his chart?" Yeah, I'm not really clear on the question. Hopefully, you can clarify that a little bit more. But in the meantime, in between time, I want to talk to people who are affected at this time or may know of anybody who has been affected in this kind of fashion. And even if you haven't been affected, this is just information that, you know, people from all generations and cultures and communities, it doesn't matter the background, it doesn't matter about anything. This is a spiritual conversation that everybody should be having. And it's important for us to have this type of dialogue because this spirit can enter into the homes of anyone. It doesn't discriminate. It's like COVID. Nobody knows how people are getting it, but they're getting it and everybody's afraid of it. And that's how the spirit is. This is a Jezebel spirit. This is another level of narcissism. So I know a lot of people, they're interested in the narcissistic conversation, but after researching and going through the study and being so interested and engulfed into the disorder of that, psychology that plagues so many people in our society, I realized that it's not just a blanket that we can throw on everybody and say that, okay, we know that he or she is a narcissist, but what level are they on? You know what I mean? What level are they on? What kind of narcissist? Because it's like different studies. It's like the body, how when you go to the doctor, they have specialists that, specialize in, let's say, whatever on your body. With dealing with narcissism and darn narcissists, it's hard to throw a blanket on everybody and say that they have every symptom that every other narcissist has when that's not true. There's different levels of narcissists, and the more higher in ranking, the more dangerous. You know what I'm saying? The more malignant. Like, I believe this guy, if he did do this crime, he is considered a malignant narcissist. See, there's a difference. There's a difference between malignant narcissist and a asshole narcissist who wants so much attention and gratification in their life they can't stay out of people's faces. That's a different level of narcissism. Okay, but it all leads to a deadly path because it's all about them. They don't really give a fuck about nobody else. And if people are around narcissists, it doesn't matter the level. It doesn't matter the level. If you are around a narcissist and you're being raised around them, you're living around them, you work with them, whatever the situation is, you are in their company. They're your guardian, they're your father, mother, leader, they're your overseer, they're your handler, and they're a narcissist. You have to understand that you are in grave danger if you are not on a stable ground in your life. And the younger, the more dangerous for that person because they're not well wisdomed enough to know that they're dealing with a person who is not in their right state of mind. And if you continue to follow this person, they can lead you down a deadly path. And then it could, make it seem as if you're the one who did it to yourself and they're the one who kind of like egged you on or put you in a situation where it led to your demise. So that's a narcissist. A narcissist is an energy that you have to constantly be on your A game with them, and you have to constantly be on your tippy toes. You got to constantly be like 10, 20 steps ahead of them. You know what I mean? You have to constantly be in the trick mind state dealing with these people because they're always in that state dealing with you. And if you're not aware of this kind of energy, you can get tricked up in so many different ways that it may seem like just a little bit of things that they do to you in the beginning. It may not seem like a big deal until, years go by, centuries go by, generation and generation, and you're seeing that situation that you got into with this narcissist, it's trickled over into your life to the point where it's affecting your life not only for today, but for tomorrow, for next year, for a decade and years, and then generations and legacies to come. Because when you're dealing with a narcissist, that's how they fuck with you. They fuck with you on the lower level and it keeps trickling over and over and over and fumbling over, and it's a domino effect. And it affects everybody, including children, babies, the community. Everybody gets affected by a narcissist. And I don't think a lot of people understand it. And I think that a lot of people take it lightly when, they talk about narcissism. I don't think that it's anything to take it lightly. I don't think anybody who, sits around and thinks that it's cute to be called a narcissist thinks that, that's not, being a narcissist is not fly, it's not cute, it's not right, and it's demonic, and it hurts a lot of people, including babies like the one on my screen, mothers, children, father, the community. It affects everybody, because if one person gets affected, two, three people get affected, everybody, the shit spreads like COVID. Everybody's affected. Nobody knows where, how it gets affected, but it's coming because it's so widespread that it's cute and it's fly to be a fucked up person and ghost people, not call them back when you text them. You know what I'm saying? Not be responsible for your children, not to be a luster, you know what I mean? Not to be a fucked up individual in life. And, these people go around and they feel like Instagram is going to make up for their wrongdoings. Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever the fucking platforms that we have going on right now that feeds the supply of these narcissists, that's not going to last long. The costume has to come off, and you have to live life at some point. You're going to grow old, and so is your body. So is your body. We live in a very narcissistic society where the body has been over amplified towards onto the character, to the point where fuck the character, fuck your personality, fuck who you are and what you can bring to the table. What do you look like is what's taking precedent in the society, and that's very narcissistic. And anybody who's on the level could see that we live in a very, very narcissistic society, to the point where, come on, enough is enough. What else can you bring towards the table other than filters, other than falsehood, other than makeup, eyelashes, fake body parts, cutting and slicing, sucking and tucking? What else can you bring towards the table that is going to bring us to a point where we can live on for generations to come? Because all this falsehood obviously is not good enough, because look what happened to homeboy who flipped the fuck out and did what he did to his daughter. Okay? Let me make sure that I'm recording. It's very important that I record. Okay, so I'm recording, and that's a good thing, because I want to make sure that I talk about this, because this is a conversation that a lot of us, including myself, who, I'm a Grammy. Okay? It means that I'm a grandmama. But I call me a Grammy. I'm a Grammy now. I got my Grammy award. So I'm a Grammy now, and stories like this, it really affects me, because as a Grammy, we ain't trying to hear this on our level, because we should be aware in 2020 of situations like this that can happen in all of our societies and communities and whatever. This is a very sad story. It came across my timeline as I was reading the newspaper, and I was shocked, because I think I'm gonna have to take a break. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break real quick. Um Basically, if you guys have not heard, I don't know how many people still hang out on Facebook and stuff like that, but it's came out on the news that there is a Pennsylvania father who has been arrested on sex assault, aggravated assault charges in the death of his 10-month-old child. His 10-month-old child. Let me go ahead and say that again. It's not his stepdaughter. It's not a baby that he found around the way. It's not his girlfriend's child. It's his daughter. Okay, so he got arrested for sexual aggravated assault against his 10-month-old. Not 11 months. Not 12. Not a year old. Not 2 years old. Okay? Not 5. Not 8. Not anything. Yo, on the real, the baby didn't even get a chance to reach the year-old mark. And the baby, let me come on, revise. Let's get clarity here. Her father was arrested in the death connection of his 10-month-old daughter. Do you hear me? Hello? Hello? When I checked his Facebook, because you guys can go to, he has a Facebook page. And when I had first came across his Facebook page, at first I was like, okay, this is his Facebook page. You're going to get the same feeling I got. You're going to get the same feeling I got. When I came across his Facebook page, I was like, nah, this is not his Facebook page. The reason why I said, nah, this is not his Facebook page, because the first thing I saw was on his page or whatever, which, everybody has the right to do what they want to do with their page. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an advocate too. Like, if you're in and out of relationships, like fucking ice and whatever, like whatever, keep your shit on single. It don't make no sense if you're dating every 3 to 6 months, Tom, Dick, and Harry, Mary Jane, and Joanne, that every 3 months you're single, whatever. Just keep the shit single throughout, yo. Until you get a ring on that finger, and then you could be like, yo, I'm fucking married. Fuck out of here. Because on Facebook, niggas be changing bitches like underwear. Like, I'm single on Monday. You know what I'm saying? I'm married on Friday. Like, I know people like that who every girlfriend they get with, that's their engagement, and then before you know it, they're married. And then before you know it, you turn around, it's like not even the seasons haven't even changed, and already they're talking about they're with somebody else. I know a lot of people like that who change people like underwears. Keep your shit on single status. So when I went on his Facebook page, I was like, nah, this is not his page, because the first thing I had saw was that he said that he was single. Okay. And then I just clicked on the photos, and I had saw all these pictures of a person who looked like the guy on my screen, but he looked at a little bit more put together. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about being put together, because a lot of people get fooled by narcissists. Let me make sure that I'm still recording. Okay, good. A lot of people get fooled by narcissists, especially in today's society, especially in 2020. We're in the year 2020 right now. A lot of people get fooled by narcissists because they get fooled and tricked into the glitz, the glamour, the action, the camera, the noise, the making, the all this sensationalization that goes through capturing the minds of so many people, that people are so, you know what I'm saying, they're so engulfed by all the fakeness, the whole clown show that's being put on in the front of their faces, that they get so captivated and marinated within their minds that they They don't really see the person for who that person really is, because they're so captured by everything else that's going on around that narcissist. So that's what narcissists do. They dress really, really fly. They drive the best fucking cars. They look good. They smell good. They are good. They have, excuse my French, be prepared. I'm here to tell you that I will curse. I will talk about sexuality, and I'm going to keep it very real and raw and rugged, especially in regards to the story. So you have to be prepared. This conversation right here, let me go ahead and put it down. This is not for children. I'm going to make sure that I put the X rated for the kids so they will listen to what I'm about to say about this dog right here. But I want you guys to be like, don't listen if you're sensitive, okay? Don't listen. But narcissists, they have to invest in themselves in order to attract people towards them. So, wearing the best garments is very important. Driving the best cars is very important. Having a nice home, a nice place to visit them is important. Them looking good, smelling good, body in good shape, all of that stuff is very important. Eating the best foods is important. So you're going to catch a lot of narcissists at your local Whole Foods, Sprouts, okay? What other what's the other store, all those like little fancy little organic places, you're going to find them there too. They're going to be there. They're going to be there eating the best food, drinking the best drinks. Okay? They're going to be at the gym. They're definitely going to be at the gym. Okay? They're going to be at all the sports clubs. They're going to be at your highest, your echelon, your best of the best. They're going to be at the top of the top. Like narcissists, they love the best of the best. Okay? And they're among the rest of the best, and they got good game. They don't really have anything to bring towards the table. All they have is their mouth, talking shit all day, swindling people, mind funking people, constantly programming people with information that is outdated, that is not beneficial, that is imprisoned like towards that person. So they're not going to give you anything that is like fruitful for you. It's only going to be designed for you to think that it's fruitful for you to support them and their lifestyle, in which they're going to glorify over you. And then, you're going to be sitting back and you're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. This person is better than me, because look at them and look at me. And they have so much ego inside of them that's boosted up from all of those people that they're mind fucking around them. And this is why I think I have it even explained in another video that a lot of narcissistic people, especially if you're dealing with a leader or a camp advisor or somebody who is like a head of an organization, you're going to see that that person obviously has more than everybody around them, whether that be a house, a car, health, wealth, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever the situation, they're going to have more than everybody around them, because everybody around them is feeding their source of supply of ego, of greed, of gluttony, of just being fluffy over everybody else. And they're going to be taking from everybody, and everybody is just going to be begging just for love and attention from this fucking parasite. And they're going to be begging because they gave so much of themselves away to this narcissist that they really don't have really anything else, and they're worthless to everybody else. So they need whatever the narcissist is going to give back to them, which is going to be nothing compared to what they gave to that narcissist. So it's a very entangling spiritual web that a lot of people find themselves in. And a lot of people, they don't really see that they're going to be entangled into a web like this until it's too late. And it's hard for a lot of people, and it doesn't matter. Like, you can get hooked up with a narcissist, you can get really, like, really engulfed in a bad web, like dangerously dealing with narcissists. And it can happen to you on any level. Like, you can be like a professor, you could be a principal, you could be a mom, you could be a dad, you could be a stay-at-home mom, you could be a manager, a supervisor, you could even be a counselor. You could be a therapist. You could be a doctor, a pediatrician. You can be a specialist. You could be a lawyer. You can be anybody on this planet and get hooked up with a narcissist and be overwhelmed, overcome, overburdened, overwritten. It doesn't matter. Something could happen to you where your life could be taken when you're dealing with a narcissist, because you don't realize that even though the narcissist may not have the credentials that you have, may not have the status that you have, may not have the money that you have, the friends that you have, it doesn't matter what you have. When you're dealing with a narcissist, they can override all of that and undo everything that you've built, because it's a snake like energy, and it's dangerous and it's demonic and it's deadly, to the point where we're looking at stories like this on my screen. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, good. So I'm still recording. So let me go ahead and read the chat real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and read the story. Yeah. So, hey, Cindy C. So it says, I am amazed that people like this always have enablers and flying monkeys, always aiding and abetting them in their crimes. You know what? Let me say something real quick. I'm glad that I already put the X rated, because again, this show is not going to be for everybody. And if you're going to be offended by what I'm finna say, then this definitely wasn't for you. And at this point, you should just go ahead and log off, because I'm finna say something. And what I'm finna say is not going to be good for everybody. But with Cindy C, when you said that you're amazed by people like this to always have enablers and flying monkeys, let me go ahead and say something real quick. And this is very, very scary, what I'm about to say. A lot of times, young women, old women, fathers, young men, young fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, it doesn't matter. Sometimes when there is a narcissist amongst your camp, and you have young babies, young children, people who are not in a condition physically or even mentally to defend themselves, and they're in a company of a narcissist, sometimes the people who are around that narcissist, they become so over glamorized by all the shit show that the narcissist puts around them, that they even become blinded and put these young people, these babies, these infants, these teenagers, these children, these elderly people, anybody who is not in the right state of mind around the narcissist, and they leave them in the company of narcissists for hours on end, for days on end, weeks, months, whatever, even minutes. And they don't realize that they're dealing with a dangerous person, and they just leave these, and then that's how the situation happens. So to me, it's not really amazing that this happens, because narcissistic people are very tricky people, and they have a way of winging themselves within people's lives and putting on this show that is so glamorized that they capture so many people around them, that it's hard for people to see narcissistic people for who they really are. And it's hard for people to see that, you know what, narcissistic people, they go around and they wear costumes. Not even on Halloween, they wear costumes every day of their lives. They wear a costume Monday through Sunday. Some of them wear a costume Monday through Friday at work. Some of them wear a costume only on Sundays when they go to church. Some of them only wear costumes when they come on YouTube and they have to put on a show for folk and they have to play games. So a lot of people in these societies, they put on these costumes and they wear it and they dance and they run a jig and they're all over the place in today's society even more, and they're fooling everybody online and even offline. So when you say that you're amazed that people like this always have enablers, society is an enabler. So many people on YouTube are enablers to people who is obvious that this person is a narcissist, and even they say that they are narcissists, and excuse my French, people still want to suck their dick. People still want to vacuum that carpet. So for you to say that you're amazed, I'm not, because it's all over. It's everywhere where we go. How many stories have we heard? This is not the only story. This story just came out in 2020 that homeboy did this to his daughter. This little baby, hopefully I don't. There's a picture of the little baby. The baby had nothing on the baby. What he wanted from the little baby? Damn, nah, I mean, yo, where was her mama? Where was the baby's mama at? Why he couldn't wait for her to come home? What happened? See, it wasn't about sex. And see, a lot of people who are around narcissistic people, and they, they try to say, oh, yeah, they're a narcissist, they have a sex problem, and, they want to have sex with all these people, and I'm just going to be okay with letting them have sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry because her pussy is hotter than everybody else's pussy. She's like a walking fucking bag of Doritos on flames. So I'm going to let her have a pass. No, it's not that. It's not that. They can have sex with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people a night, every night for the next 365 days. It don't matter. It's not that. It's a demonic spirit within that person. And it doesn't matter how many sexual partners they have. It doesn't matter how many people they date. It doesn't matter if you give them the pum pum, the bum bum, the bum bum. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do, how you do it, where you go, how you go. It don't matter. None of that. You gonna wear yourself out before you do that narcissist, because you don't realize that they have a inner demonic, unsatisfying, unsettling spirit within them that there's no human on this planet that will be able to satisfy until they face themselves and they realize that this is something that is deeper than what everybody is trying to give them. Which, you ever heard that song, something about it was a Jamaican song where they were saying that, it doesn't matter how many pieces of wood they put in her fire, she's still gonna burn. She's still gonna be on flames. She can get all kind of wood, big wood, small wood, hardwood, short wood. It don't matter. It's too much flames in that fire. You gonna run out of wood before that flame run out. So you're going to end up running yourself out for somebody who is never going to be satisfied. See, this is why narcissist is the narcissistic community, the narcissist, people going to counseling, watching video after video, tape after tape, advice after advice, therapy session after therapy session, losing all your motherfucking money, losing your family, your friends, your dignity, your bank account, your job, losing your mind, you're in deep depression, all of that. You won't continue to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose out on opportunities dealing with a narcissist, because the problem is you are in the wrong place and you need to go ahead and move on, because this is a person who, don't matter how much wood you put in that fire, it ain't gonna ever be satisfied. And that's the bottom line with narcissists. That's the bottom line. If you're looking up a narcissist video and you're dealing with a narcissist and the narcissist is in your camp, let me tell you something. You know how you get rid of the problem? Get rid of that problem and revamp the camp. That's it. So anyway, let me go back to the chat. So it says I dated one that was so subtle that no one believed me. He is currently in prison for crimes unrelated to myself. Praying for that baby. Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing I want to say real quick about the whole prison thing. You know, there's some good people in, in that situation and everything like that, but there is a lot of narcissists that are in that situation. And one of the things that I know that they do master is the mind, because they physically can't deal with you. So a lot of people who are in that situation, they study psychology, they study astrology, they study spirituality, and they study the mind. They even study medical stuff, because a narcissist wants to learn you from the inside and out. So they're going to study your mind, your body, and your soul. So they're not going to be working. People are going to be giving them money to support their lifestyle. So while you're supporting their lifestyle and feeding their bellies, guess what? They're going to be sitting home and studying not only you, but everybody around you. And that is the community, that is the society. And that is why when you deal with narcissistic people, they afflict you, but it trickles down into the whole entire community, which is the society. So anyway, let me go ahead and get out of here real quick, because I have some things that I have to do. But basically, this just came out, and it basically is this 29-year-old guy. He's a young guy. He's a young guy. And I believe that this is his first daughter. And she was only 10 months old. And let's just read this. It says 29-year-old Austin Stevens raped and assaulted his 10-month-old daughter over the weekend. Court records reveal when she stopped breathing, he Googled, "How do you know if a baby is dead?" before calling 911 an hour later. So the 10-month-old was taken to an Einstein Medical Center in Montgomery, where she died after midnight. A search warrant of Stevens' phone showed that he had conducted multiple Google searches for nearly an hour before calling 911, authorities said. Subjects included: if baby stops breathing, what if you don't hear baby heart or beat? So he Googled this stuff. So my baby isn't breathing, and how do you know if a baby is dead? So Stevens has also conducted a social media and text conversation with two women during this time that were not related to the baby's condition, investigators said. Um, okay, so yeah, this case is very deeply disturbing. But what I'm sad to say is that this is not the only case. I'm going to show you some things in a minute. Um, so anyway, Stevens is charged with involuntary deviant. See, when they put the deviant there, that means we're over sexual molestation. When they put deviant there, that means this is a whole nother level of sexual assault. That means that he went in, and when they say deviant, they say that because I'm about to show you something in a minute why they said deviant. You know what? Let me. Oh, okay. Deviant sexual intercourse, aggravated assault, and other charges, authorities said. According to social media friend, Stevens is a co-owner of Black Diamond Constructions. Again, if you go on Facebook, he may even have an Instagram. I didn't go that deep on the dirty dog. Um, but you may be able to Google Black Diamond Construction and you will see him. But again, when I first went to his Facebook page, I wasn't even sure that if that was him, because he had this profile saying that he was single. I didn't see any baby in sight under his pictures. Again, I didn't really want to look through his pictures like that because he was not appetizing to look at. He was very, He had a demonic spirit, and I don't really like to look at, demonic spirits pictures like that, because I don't want their energy intertwining with mine. So I briefly just ruffled over some of those pictures. But I just I didn't know if that was him, but I knew it was him. And that's the feeling that you're going to get when you go to his page, is that when you first get to his page, you're not going to really think that that's him, but then you're going to have to do a comparison with what you're seeing in the news, and then you're going to realize that is him. But then when you're going to go through his pictures, you're not going to see any baby's mama, you're not going to see any baby, you're not going to see him identify himself with any kind of structure in his life. And that's another thing I want to mention real quick about narcissistic people, is that a lot of people who are in relationships with people who are narcissistic, they're going to find that the narcissist will not post any pictures of them with the narcissist. That's not always the case, though. Don't get all wrapped up in that, because there is some narcissists who, for whatever reason, they overdo it with posting. So they want everybody, and your dead grandmother, excuse for anybody who's out there, but anybody and your ancestors who have passed on, they want them to know. They want the living and the dead to know that they're with you. And a lot of times they do that not because they're trying to show people that they're exclusive to you. That's another way of fooling the victim, to make them feel like they're a winner, they're a prize, because the narcissist took pictures with them and they posted it online for everybody to see. So that's giving them a false security that the narcissist really loves and adores them and is their rock and they're solid and they're with them, not realizing that's just another ploy in a game that narcissistic pulls. So they have two. This is, like I said, this is, what, hopefully, I think, as time goes by and people dive deep more into this psychology, I think that narcissism needs to be a whole separate psychology from science. That people, it needs to be studied not only on a scientific psychological level, but I think that it needs to have a whole separate study in regards to spirituality, because narcissism affects not only the physical, but it also affects the emotional, which is spiritual. So it could affect you on the physical level, where it could destroy your families. People could come up dead. You can be raped. You can be assaulted. You could go to prison. You could lose your money. You could be in debt, and you could lose your life on a physical level. It could be that dangerous when you're dealing with a narcissist. But on a spiritual level, it could lead you to depression, anxiety, anxiousness, schizophrenia. So, I mean, narcissistic people and this whole narcissistic energy that everybody's so interested in, I feel that this is a science that people need to dive deep into and get a grip of this stuff before it continues to ruin the lives of not only this baby, but the community. Because this dude, I mean, he's only 29 years old. You know what I mean? He's just starting off. He just obviously had a new family. I don't know what his problem was, but his daughter was young. He was young. And I mean, when you go to his Facebook page, it looks like he could have been a good citizen to society, but there was a demonic spirit that took over, and it was secretive, it was hiding. And nobody saw it. You know what I mean? Not even the mother of the baby. She didn't see it. Obviously, she didn't see it because there's a 99.9% chance that I believe that there's no mother out there. This is what I believe. 99.9% of anybody, any mother that I know, I don't know about the other mothers out there, but any mom that I know, there's a 99.9% chance, if they knew, that they would leave their baby with their baby father, their husband, their fiance, their grandfather, The father of the baby. The women that I know, there's a 99.9% chance if they knew that dropping the baby off after he fought you in court and was granted visitation rights in some cases, there's a 99.9% chance that I don't know any mother out there who would be like, okay, I'm going to drop my baby off with the baby father. And obviously the baby don't got no flesh, no really nothing. It's a newborn baby damn near I'm handing over to this dog. Because you fought me in court, you want to see the baby so damn bad because you want to spite me. So now you have the baby, and then there's like, okay, so you drop the baby off. Let's say he has visitations on Saturday. And then you get a phone call on Sunday or whatever the situation, whatever day. It doesn't, don't even say that day. And it's a phone call like, oh, okay, there's a situation like this. And then you're like, what? What is wrong with him? I thought he had so many bitches. I thought everybody wanted him. I thought that he can get anybody. I thought that he had a girlfriend. I thought that he was fucking somebody right now. What the fuck? This is reality. This is not, he didn't have nobody. He wasn't fucking Pee Wee Herman sitting in a movie theater. No, he was a regular dude. Go to his Facebook, his Instagram, if he still has it. And he was a regular dude. He could have had many bitches. What was the problem? What was the excuse? Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, good. So these are the situations where it wasn't like he was Pee Wee Herman in the movie theater going crazy on himself. The baby is only 10 months old, so that means that he just most likely broke up with her. Why? Anyway, who cares why? Anyway, let's read this article. It says, Mom speaks after Monko's baby death. I really have no words. She was sassy. She was perfect. Her mother said, whatever. The baby died after she was raped and assaulted by her father. Lord Providence, Pennsylvania. The community, what I told you. What did I just tell you guys? I told you that it's not a single problem. See, when people get with narcissists, they think, oh, okay, I'm just affected. You know, it's just me, myself, and I. No, it's you and everybody else around you who's affected by this person that's demonic, who's in your camp. That's what it is. Because everybody gets affected when there's a narcissist in their camp. Do you understand? The mother, the father, the child, the community, the society, everybody gets affected by a narcissist because when they do shit like this to one person, it affects everybody. Just because he raped and killed his own daughter doesn't mean that it stops there. Guess who else is affected? Her mother. Her mother's affected, the grandmother, the grandfather, the sisters, the aunts, the uncles, the community. Everybody is burnt and hurt by this situation. Do you understand what narcissism is now? It's an affection that affects everybody. Because not only did he rape and kill this little girl, but he raped and killed her mother, the father, the grandfather, the aunt, the uncle, the niece, the nephews. Everybody in the community is hurt and burnt by the situation because they're trying to get an understanding on a psychological level. What would make this dumbass do this to his own daughter at 10 months old? She had nothing to provide. What happened, homeboy? I'm just, I just need to take a break. You know what? Just let me take a break real quick. And then I'm just going to have to show you something. And then I'm going to have to get out of here because, yeah, I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of things to do. This whole eighth house stuff. Like I did say, hopefully one of these days I can just like do like a video on how like the whole eighth house has affected me and has turned my life upside down. But this is not about me. This is not about me, but the eighth house stuff is real. And to be to be honest with you, I'm not gonna be surprised if, like I said, I'm doing something right now, and I'm doing a whole lot of stuff right now. But when I do get the chance, I did say that I wanted to investigate stories like this, with the victims of situations that are similar to this. And I wanted to see what kind of planets that they had in their house that would trigger something like this to be injected into their community, into their society. And for some reason, I have a funny feeling that there's a lot of eighth house um, in connections to stories like this for some reason. So again, when I get some chance, when I get some time, I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to look into people who are victims of rape and molestation and just assaults like this. If they had like a lot of planets of an eighth house in their chart, or even 12th house in their chart, and what did they have in their charts that would trigger something like this? Because because I was talking to somebody today, and they try to come and give me like the sob story over an adult who basically is showing face that they don't really want to do nothing, and they try to give me the sob story in a sympathetic um proposition that I should be sorry for them. And I basically said, before even coming across this story, is that I can't be sympathetic towards an adult when there is babies being born with that same situation, if not worse. And then lo and behold, look what I come across. There are babies that are going through things, and they are more devastating than adults who want a lot of attention in today's society. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I have just a few more stories to show you guys. It's very devastating. So just hold tight and be aware, because it's hardcore. Um, but these are things that we're going to have to talk about, and it's very uncomfortable to talk about this. Nobody wants to look at anybody in this way, but this is reality, and this is what's going on. So let me take a break. Good story. Ooh, so I am back. Whew. Breaks are good, man. Breaks are great. Let me get back on this dog. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, good. So looks like I'm good. Okay, so I don't think I have to read the article because I think that it was up there long enough for us to have read what he did, and it basically was fucked up. Okay. So basically, the bottom line is, I don't know if you guys had saw the story and everything like that, but basically, he had overdid it to the point that they had to label it as deviant because the baby's diaper had blood in it, a lot of blood. I don't know if you guys read that part, but I'm moving on. Okay, so the community is rallying around the mother of the baby girl who died after police said she was raped by assaulted by her father in the Lower Providence Township over the weekend. More than $22,000 was raised in a matter of hours through a GoFundMe for the family of the 10-month-old Zara Lynch Scruggs. Her mother, Erica Scruggs, took to social media to thank her supporters. So obviously, you could reach out to this woman on social media. I think it's very important for people to reach out because this is a very tragic situation, and she needs all the support that she can receive during this time. So, remember, I've been talking shit like lately, and a lot of my videos are like they're about it because it's so controversial. And it's so controversial because a lot of people are not agreeing, and I don't want them to agree. I want everybody to have their own opinion, and everybody should stand on their own fucking square at the end of the day. That's real talk. I'm gonna stand on mine. You stand on yours. We all are different chess players in this game. But I am not an advocate for virtual learning. I think that this is a bad idea. I've been saying it for a very long time. That I think that virtual learning is a very bad idea. I think it's not good for every student. There's a lot of children, especially in 2020, that are suffering from ADHD, including adults. And it's very hard to sit at a computer for long periods of time. I can understand maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. But you want these kids to sit in front of this computer as if they're in school for 8 hours a day. And I don't think that's right. I think that's wrong. I think that, this is a bad idea. I've been saying it from the beginning. I think that a lot of students are going to fall behind. And I think there's a lot of things that's going to trickle down into society because this was pushed so quickly and so fast onto kids that were not used to this program. Because it's a program. Whether your kids go to school offline or online, they're going into a program. And this new program with the kids going online on school, I don't think it's good for everybody. I don't think every teacher is good at teaching. And it's obvious when we hear them online as parents. And we have to sit back and hear how dull and null and lacking of luster these teachers have in their voice. You know what I'm saying? And they're not engaging. And they want the kids to be at their top notch, and they're not at their top notch themselves. I don't think it's fair that they have kids in school for 8 hours during a full schedule as if they were physically there. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Not every home is conducive for learning. Obviously, you're looking at a screen on my screen. I'm not going to really go into how I feel and why I'm not an advocate for online learning. But this is obviously a reason why I'm not an advocate. And I've said this way before when COVID first started and me and Huey was on here talking shit. I did not want this to go on as long as it did, but we're going through it and we're about to go through a second, third, fourth, fifth. It felt like we damn near on our 10th wave. But the lockdown and the virtual learning will bring about situations like this where on my screen you see where it says lockdown horror. Cases of fathers raping daughters across India. In the last 3 months, many cases have been reported of fathers raping their daughters across India. A 14-year-old girl was allegedly raped by her father, and I'm not going to pronounce it, last week. A cab driver, the accused hails of whatever district, and was arrested by the area's all women police force. They have an all women's police force out there in India. He raped and impregnated his minor daughter repeatedly until the mother discovered the horror and took action. He has two daughters, and according to the police, the entire family shares one room to sleep. A Times Now report said the survivor complained of stomach ache and vomiting to her mother, and that's when she was taken to the hospital for a checkup. She was discovered pregnant, and later, the mother found out that her father had been reportedly raping the girl for 3 months. Can you hear me? Hmm. So there have been a large number of such cases recently where fathers have raped their daughters. 5 cases were reported in the media the last 3 months. Another case of a father killing his daughter for wealth and a baby boy was also reported. Okay. There's hundreds and hundreds of these stories. I didn't want to post all the stories. I really didn't. So I said, I'm just gonna whatever. But there's a lot and lots, and this is a laundry list of stories like this. They don't make the headline news. We don't hear about this. What we hear about is narcissists and they're begging, pleading for attention, vanity, grandization. This is what we hear on the internet. Who's who's what, who got the biggest ass, who got the biggest dick, who's sucking dick harder, whose pum pum is wetter. This is what we hearing nowadays. We ain't hearing the real. We ain't hearing none of the real. We all fluff it and puff it around the internet. But we not realizing that there's a lot of bullshit going on the back end. And this ain't cute. Hearing WAP, I don't want to hear no damn WAP when this shit is really on the back end of society and this is what's going on. So while you trying to wet a willy, somebody is getting hurt. Okay? And I was talking to one of my girlfriends and she, because I was communicating with her and I was saying that, now that, I'm engulfed into society, that it just seems like a lot of people are different from how we remembered them, like just the communication, how everybody's texting, they don't respond right away, or even if they respond it's very bland. The conversations that I'm having with people, it's not very fruitful, it's lacking luster. And I was just telling my friend, like, it doesn't seem very fulfilling how I remember life being before I got married. And she said that it was the music. And I was like, you know what? I agreed, but then I was like, you know what? That's just too simple. The answer is just the music. And then I realized it might be the music. It really just might be the music because back in my time, in the 90s, we had a different generation of people who were pumping out different energy within the music, and it wasn't like how it is now. And now it's like it's just very cutthroat, it's very bland, it's it's more mental, and it's like you have to figure everything out. The communication is lacking luster, it's very cutthroat, and I just don't remember society being like that. And my friend said, you know what, it's the music. And I'm like, is it just that simple? It's just the music? And I guess it's just the music. And of course, there's other things. But this is what's going on behind all of that other bullshit that we're all caught up in. Snapchat, Instagram, who got the biggest, whatever, whatever. Who's hotter than, who got the biggest mouth. And, it's just too much. But put all that bullshit aside, and this is real life right here on my screen. See, all that is fluffy and puffy, and getting your mind into a whole nother realm where you're not really aware of what's really going on in politics and society and economics, and how we do have a coin shortage. The banks is finna close on your ass. They don't want kids to go back to school because they're getting us ready for a whole nother thing bigger than COVID. See, they got reality and they got falsehood. And I'm sorry to say, but like 80% of society is in falsehood. There's only a small percentage of people who's aware of this whole situation that's going on right in front of our eyes, but due to the fact that we're so caught up in all this fluffing and puffing and all this narcissistic energy, we're not really seeing that homeschooling is not for every kid, because there's a lot of kids out there suffering from ADHD just like adults. That not every teacher is teaching good, and some of them don't have no energy when they get up on that computer and they want your kid to sit up in their face for an hour or whatever, and they're just like Snoopy, womp womp womp. And they're not realizing that a lot of these kids do like going to school because they're escaping their fucking weird ass whatever persons at home who is lusting after them. And they can't really talk to a counselor on the computer because their fucking narcissistic, psychopathic, lustful, demonic entity is over them, breathing over their computer and seeing everything that they're doing. So they can't escape. They're caught up in a web because nobody wants to fucking go to work at the end of the day, if you want to keep it 1,000. So we're all using this COVID as excuses why nobody wants to fucking go to work. Nobody wants to do their job. Kids are not in school. They're suffering. Not every kid has a home that is conducive for learning. Come on. Now did you just hear the story that I read where the fucking people said that, everybody was in one room and the pops was in the one room with the daughter, and while the mother was over there sleeping like a fucking idiot, getting out of shape and looking bad as fuck, he was over there looking at the daughter and her young and fun body, and he was doing danger. Even other dude, I mean, his baby was only 10 months old. She had nothing on her, and he was lusting after her. This is a spirit. It has nothing to do with you having the biggest body, having a wet ass pussy, big tits, looking like Donald Duck. It don't have nothing to do with that. Okay, cutting and slicing. If the person has a demonic spirit, it matter what you look like, what you smell like, how old you are, how much money you have. It wants to demolish and destroy everybody. I'm out of here after this. I don't have too much to say. There's a father accused of raping a daughter for 4 years. She was at school or something like that. She was at home. It's another story. A grandfather who allegedly raped his own daughter is also accused of sexually molesting. So he raped his daughter and his granddaughter. Do I have to say anything else? Let me read the chat and get out of here. Yes, NDC. This is reality, and a lot of people don't want to face it for some reason. But Toya, oh my God, do you think our zodiac signs plays a part in things like this? So that he's a Pisces. Oh, word, Toya, yo, on the real, Toya. Thank you for bringing that up, because you know what I said, but I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't really want to look at his I didn't really want to look at his picture too much, because I went on his Facebook or whatever, but I didn't really want to look at him too tough. Like he was like, because I don't like looking at demonic people like that. I really don't. Like I glance at them and I move on, because I don't want to connect with their energy. And sometimes when you can stare in a person's eyes, you can really start to connect with them. And I didn't want no connection with that dog. He needs to be where he be, and he needs to not be connected to nobody. Okay? So he's a Pisces. Mm. Yeah, you know what? I was just saying, Toya, that a lot of the stuff that I had talked about with the dark side signs, a lot of that stuff I was saying was real. A lot of people don't want to accept it, and that's okay. And I did at some point want to, because I was, I have, actually, Toya, I have dark side signs of almost close to every sign on my channel, but a lot of those videos are private, because when you tap into the dark side, you tap into energy that a lot of people don't want to face. They don't want to recognize. They don't want to acknowledge that they have that dark energy that they afflict onto others. And they want to make up excuses for why they do the things that they do to others. And I just was so excited when I was able to talk about the dark side, because the dark side helped me correct and also acknowledge some of my dark side ways, to the point where I'm conscious now about the things that I say and do, because I realize that this is just a dark energy within my sign that is natural for me to display. And I just have to be conscious, because I have to realize that it may benefit me, but it may hurt others. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad to see that the dude was a Pisces, but all signs have a dark side. And hopefully, as time goes by, I can go even darker, and I can say some of the things that I feel that will be beneficial for all of us, even the people that do have a lot of dark traits within their chart, and they don't want to recognize it. They want to hide behind social media. They want to put on this display of perfection and Mother Teresa hood, and that's not really what's going on. And not only are they lying to other people, but they're lying to themselves. And when you can start to tell yourself the truth, then you can tell, what I'm saying? But social media, it really it really enhances and it really promotes the actions to be fake and false to society, because society gravitates towards falsehood, the clown suit, the clip-ons, the clap-ons. So anyway, Boko Haram said in North Nigeria, if he did this, he would be executed and beheaded in a Sharia law. I'm gonna look that up. But yeah, basically. I mean, you know what, Boca, one thing I learned about karma, that even if um a person doesn't get it immediately, they will get it at the end. And sometimes the longer they wait for their karma to be fed to them, the more harder, the more dangerous, the more worse it is. So that this is something that I learned about karma. So he's gonna get it. It doesn't matter if his head get cut off today. It's something's gonna happen. It's gonna be worse than he could ever imagine. So Ash, I'm probably mispronouncing these, but you said I'm so sick to my stomach. And then Toya, last comment, and then I guess I'm gonna get out of here. You said, really? I didn't know you could connect with someone through their eyes. Oh yeah, Toya. I'm not gonna be the one to say it, but a lot of people would say that. Like a lot of people, they could they a lot of people. I'm surprised you haven't. I'm surprised you haven't heard. But a lot of people say that, they can tell from a person's eyes what kind of person this person is. They can tell by looking in your eyes if you have a soul, if you're soulless, if you're sincere, if you are a grimy person. A lot of people could tell a lot of things from just looking at your eyes. I had a friend, hopefully I could reconnect with her. She's a Pisces. And she had a story that was similar to the ones that I'm talking about, and it was in connection to her father. And I did invite her to the show, but I guess she was afraid to talk about it, but I'll let her do it. But anyway, I remember, when I was friends with her and I had communicated with her about like certain situations, and I showed her certain pictures about my environment and about even the people that I was dealing with. I'll never forget. I tested this girl and I showed her pictures of certain, and immediately she said what that person was about. And I was surprised, but shortly after what she said about that person was that. And she said she read all of it from that person's eyes. So she had a special gift. And the sad part about all of this raping and molestation and narcissism and being abused, sometimes these abusers can open up gates inside of people, inside of victims, that taps them into a whole nother realm of life. And when they're talking to psychologists and therapists and sociologists or whatever the situation is, sometimes they can talk about things that are not of this world. And it makes it seem to that psychologist or the therapist that the victim is a little wacko. And they're not realizing it's because the situation that they were in, which again, I'm not going to really go into this, that it opened up a gate inside of that person that opened them up to another realm where they're able to see things and people that other people are not able to see because a gate inside of their life was opened up through a demonic spirit. Again, I'm not going to go into it too tough, but this is what happens to a lot of people who have been victims of rape and victims of crimes such as this, is that they don't look at people like the average Joe Blow looks at people. They look at people on a deeper level. Okay, when they see people and they see people smiling and beguiling and putting on a clown show, they don't fall for the okie doke like the average person does. Okay, because they're able to see people for who they are, because the person that was putting on the clown show, putting on the okie doke, smiling and beguiling in people's face, turned around behind all those people who were captivated and was victimizing them. So they see people differently than the average person sees people, because that spirit tapped into their gate that opened them up to a whole nother realm, that they're talking about things that the average Joe Blow doesn't get. So looking deep into a person's eyes is a science that just only a very selected a few people can see, because after they were victims of certain crimes, they don't see all the show that the average Joe Blow falls for. They look deeper into that person's soul, which is the eyes of most likely of the person who committed the crime towards them. So there is people who could read people through their eyes. So yeah. Yeah, so you said you believe he'll get his karma. Yeah, come on, man. Everybody gets karma, Toya. Everybody, man. Everybody. Everybody, Toya. Everybody. Everybody is going to have a price to pay. And if you doing things like this to kids, what you think? They not going to pay the price? So anyway, um, last comment, I guess I'm out of here. So Toya, you said I knew you can look into someone's soul and read them, but I didn't know that energy could be transferred by looking at them. Again, Toya, everybody's different. Maybe, it can't be transferred. I'm just saying I didn't want to look at the nigga's picture too tough because he's a dog in my eyes. And I didn't want to look at him. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to look at. I don't want to look deep into the person's eyes or their picture or anything if they did what they did like this to their own daughter. So I don't want to give any energy, any time, nothing to a dog like that. Because by me giving my time to look over at somebody's picture, I'm giving my energy away. I'm giving my time away looking at something that's worthless. So that's my energy that's being exchanged looking at a dog's picture. So I didn't look too tough because I don't have time for that. So I'm just sad by the situation. There's a lot of things that I covered, and it is what it is, Joe. This is an ongoing thing. So just really quickly, let me get out of here. It says the man lived with his daughter, who is now 32, and granddaughter. I'm just tired. Aren't you tired of hearing these stories? It's just tiring. Let's just get the devil out of here, please. Can we just get him out?